I didn't watch it live, just the tape. Yeah.
How come you don't like watching games live like that?
I just like to take my own perspective on it, so I watch it without the sound. Yeah, I just like to see it for what it is, more the X's and O's than any sort of commentary.
When you looked at that game, did you see what you guys can become when it comes to one of those epic NFC West?
Yeah, I mean, those are two teams that are competing at a very high level, and it was a great football game. Both sides gave it everything they had, and just a lot of great competition on that field and playing at a high level for 4 quarters, actually 5 quarters. And yeah, we understand the division we're in and where we have to go, and that was a great example.
You've talked about Kyler hopefully growing with some of these young receivers, whether it's Christian or Andy or whomever. How would you like to see, other than their own individual progress, how do you want to see that growth together manifest itself? Like, is it just a question of each of them individually getting better as we go, or is there something to them doing it together?
Yeah, there's definitely chemistry that gets developed over time and trust, and you're starting to see more of that as the season's gone on, and as those guys are getting more reps from the younger players, it's definitely increased, and that's why we drafted some young wideouts to grow together and be around Fitz and see how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, playing 4 quarters can obviously be exhausting, but playing an extra 15 minutes, how much more can that do to a body?
Those guys were playing at a really high level for a long time, and I'm sure they have a great plan in place to recover and recoup this week. But that's tough on anybody if you play a whole extra quarter of NFL football, particularly 2 of the top teams in the league going at it like that.
You mentioned Zach Allen on Monday. Will you wait until after the bye week before deciding whether to put him on IR or try to get him back for 5 games, or will the decision be made before then?
We're working through that. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when the decision will be made, but that's something we're working on.
Chris just talked about wanting to be a leader like Fitz and off the field as well. What kind of examples have you seen from him doing that?
Just a tremendous competitor. His work habits are through the roof. Anything you say, he just says yes, sir, and tries to do it to the best of his ability. And doesn't take a rep off when we move inside, outside at practice. If you try to get him off the field, he won't go. I mean, he does it exactly how you want it to be done. And you can tell that, having watched Fitz, just the way he carries himself, the way he treats people, the way he treats people around the building, he's learned a lot from Fitz already.
Will Patrick practice today, and do you have any better idea of whether he'll be able to play Sunday?
I don't know if he'll practice just yet. We're going to get him moving around and see exactly what he can do, and it'll be day by day.
Does Kirk have what it takes to be a number 1 wide receiver?
I believe so. I think you look at he's not the biggest guy, but you look at an Antonio Brown, Steve Smith, guys like that. He just has that type of juice. I'm not saying he's going to get to where they're at, but he has that type of ability, in my opinion, to be able to go inside, outside, and be a mismatch wherever he goes.
What does he have to do to get to that level?
I just keep working. I think consistency at the quarterback position always helps too. You look at those great ones; they always have a guy in place for a long time where you build that rapport, you build that trust, and you're their guy. So I think there's a lot of factors that play into it.
Is he about as far away from a diva receiver as you can get?
No question. He's the antithesis. Is that right, Mark? Yeah. of that. Just in everything he does. I mean, he literally, if he gets the ball 10 times or he doesn't get it at all, he doesn't say a word. He just goes as hard as he can every single play, and that's what he's about.
What stands out to you about Buda Baker?
You can see a real comfort level in this system. He's all over the field. He's relentless in his play, his passion for it. I mean, he's not the most vocal guy, but it shows up on tape. Everybody knows what he's about by just turning that tape on and the way he's flying around the field and throws his body in there. And he's a guy I can see being a great leader for us moving forward.
Coach, we've seen Buda do it for a while now, but that kip-up he does after plays when he falls down, when you saw it for the first time, what was your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, he's a lot better athlete than I am. I would hurt myself trying to do that, but he's got a lot of juice. I mean, that's how he carries himself at practice, in the weight room, and everything he does has a certain level of intensity that all our players and coaches appreciate.
In terms of how you deal with players, how much of that is a reflection of you being a player yourself and how you want coaches to treat you?
I was fortunate to be around a bunch of different coaches, and like I've said before, I kind of took a little bit from each one, things that I thought were most effective with me, and I do think you try to tailor it to each player in this day and age. I mean, I don't think you can treat just everybody exactly the same anymore, and I try to take a lot of pride in getting to know the player and what makes them tick.
What's been the preparation, or what's it been like the last couple of days? You mentioned Monday you've never been in this spot playing somebody twice in this, but is it a challenge? Like, okay, this worked last time, but they know this is coming now.
There's definitely some of that. It's been a lot of fun because usually that's an off-season deal where you're watching it and you're saying, "Oh, shoot, against TCU, I wish I would have called this or that," and now you get a chance to do it immediately. And so that's been fun to kind of turn our game on and see it from a different perspective, step back and see, hey, didn't call this, but this would have worked, and try to build off that.
And you didn't call the first game because you knew you were playing them in 2 weeks?
No. I mean, we emptied the sheet as much as we could, but there were calls that didn't get called that would still be good, and there will definitely be some carryover from that game that didn't get used.
With Tremaine not practicing last week, is there any deeper concerns for depth at cornerback if Patrick's still kind of figuring things out?
There is, and we have to figure out early in the week where he's out exactly, and had some guys in to work out yesterday, and so we're preparing ourselves in case.
Is that figure out where he's at for Pat or for Tremaine or for both?
For both, yeah, just depth-wise, yeah.
Kyler got in a nice groove as the game went along, but he did throw a couple highs, seemed like on that first drive. Is there ever a sense of settling in for a quarterback, almost like a pitcher in the first inning, trying to figure out?
Yeah, I think that's one thing as a play caller. I always try to get him completions early, easy ones early to kind of settle in. And I know that first corner route, he doesn't usually miss throws like that. He couldn't see him and just kept it wide. And then the next one, he just sailed a little bit over Keyshawn. But I think it's a credit to him that when a ball does touch the ground, he does miss an open throw. We're all like, oh, man, he must be off today, because you don't see it happen very often for a rookie. That's saying something.
We haven't talked a lot about him this year, but Shipley's playing in his 100th NFL game, 7th-round pick, kind of a smaller guy. How remarkable is that, just the fact he's going to play in his 100th?
It's incredible, and just from when I first got here, the first day in the building, he was one of the first people I saw rehabbing, and he never left. He was here every single day that I was here, and so you appreciate his work ethic, what he's put in, and then the guys all respect the heck out of him and what he's about, how he carries himself, how he works, and he's a great leader for our offense.
I don't know if you saw it last night, but Kyler and LeBron had a moment at the Suns game last night. Do you ask Kyler where your invite was, and what's their what do they have in common, those two guys?
Yeah, I don't know, LeBron personally, but I mean, he's one of the biggest stars on the planet, and just two guys that very, very talented, compete their tails off, and I can't afford those seats just yet. So
I'm guessing Kyler didn't pay for him, though.
I'm guessing not.
Pro Bowl voting is coming out right now, and Chandler Jones is, by a lot of people's accounts, has been underrated or under whatever. What are you thinking of his season, Pro Bowl, maybe All-Pro, based on where he's headed this year?
Well-deserved. He's another guy. I said that about AQ, but he's another guy. Didn't miss a day of off-season workouts, OTAs, was conscientious in every practice we had and has worked and plays that way, plays every snap, has been in several different defenses recently and never complained, never moaned about what he's been asked to do, and he just goes hard, and the production is through the roof. That's it.
Why do you think he's been overlooked?
The only thing I can guess is, not the wins haven't been here. That's what I would say. But I think anybody that goes against him will definitely tell you he's well deserving of any awards that come his way.
What does that show you about the awards, that they are usually tied to wins instead of individual?
Yeah, I think it varies year in and year out, but we all know, if you're winning, the spotlight's on you and the attention's on you, and that's just how it works.
When you guys realized you were going to take Kyler in the draft, did you kind of know immediately that it would ripple to then Bosa going to the 49ers? And you guys
I did. And that was tough because we all, fell in love with the kid, getting around him, getting to know him. You saw his energy, his passion. We knew that he would be a guy that could lead a franchise and was going to be very successful. So it was hard knowing he's going somewhere in the division and had to plan for the next 12 years or whatever.
Was there any hesitation to take Kyler at that point?
No, it was, we were going to make the decision we felt was best for our organization at that time, but, that's not a knock on Bosa, or that we didn't feel great about taking him as well. We had Coach Davis, who, had some intimate knowledge, and then all of our meetings, everything that went with him was through the roof, and what he's doing now is exactly what we kind of all predicted and expect him to be doing.